Hello and welcome to Givology, a channel dedicated to making concepts in biology simple, easy to understand, and interesting. Did you know that twins account for only 3 out of 1,000 births? Yet, these extraordinary individuals hold a special place in our fascination because of the unique bond that they have, the intriguing similarities, and the science behind them. Let's delve into this captivating world of twins in today's video. Now, what are twins? Whenever there are two offsprings produced in one pregnancy, it is called twins. All twins do not look alike. We have different types of twins which do not look um, like one another. So, twins are mostly classified as either identical twins or fraternal twins. This is based on their appearance. But of course, there are many other criteria which are used for classifying them. For example, the number of eggs from which they are produced, the type of placentation they have, if they share it or not, the amniotic sac, if they share it or not, the gender which they have, the time of fertilization, and so on. There are so many different characteristics. Now, for our academic purposes, based on the 10th standard syllabus, we are going to be talking about two types of twins in this video. So we have identical twins, which are twins which are coming from the single fertilized egg, which splits into two embryos. So they have a similar genetic constitution and they are also known as monozygotic twins. And because it is one fertilized egg which is splitting into two, they are always of the same gender. Now the next type is the fraternal twins. The fraternal twins come from two separate eggs which are fertilized by two separate sperms. So they are genetically different just like any other sibling. They are also known as dizygotic twins. Apart from these two types also, there are other rare types which, though we are not going to be discussing in details in this video, you can find them in another shorts that I have on twins. I will give the link of that in the description box. So those are semi-identical twins, polar body twins, mirror image twins, and conjoined twins. Now let's look at the difference between the identical and the fraternal twins. Based on the origin, the identical twins, like we spoke about, are arrived from or they are developed from one fertilized egg which splits sometime early in its developmental stages, and each of the two parts develops into a complete individual. Fraternal twins, on the other hand, are developed from two separate eggs which are fertilized by two separate sperms. So genetically identical twins are identical, whereas fraternal twins have different genetical composition. Identical twins are always of the same gender, like two boys or two girls, whereas fraternal twins can be either of similar or different genders. So you may have two boys or two girls or one boy and one girl. Identical twins generally have very similar appearance, but they do have some differences. For example, difference in handwriting, difference in fingerprints. Some of the birthmarks could also be different. Fraternal twins otherwise are just like how we have siblings, but just that they are born at the same time and they have their own differences. Identical twins are less common, whereas fraternal twins make about 75% of all twin cases. The other names for identical twins are monozygotic twins and uniovular twins because they are born from a single ovule, whereas fraternal twins are also known as diovular twins or dizygotic twins. Some interesting things about identical twins are the mirroring behavior, where sometimes the twins start they display a mirroring behavior in their mannerisms, in their movements, and they uh, do have some kind of example. They mirror their body language, sometimes similar facial expressions or synchronized movements. Then there is another phenomenon known as twin telepathy, which is again very interesting. Uh, it refers to an alleged ability of identical twins to sense each other's thoughts, emotions, or experiences without a verbal communication. So that is characterized by intuitive understanding, sometimes unspoken communication, shared emotions, um, and sometimes even uncanny knowing about what the other person is thinking. For example, sometimes they finish each other's sentences, sometimes they share dreams or nightmares, they do have coincidental actions, and so on. Then they also have an intuitive understanding of one another. When it comes to fraternal twins, they are, like we said, just like any other siblings, but they are born at the same time. Uh, they also experience twin psychology, and they also experience the similar twin challenges. For example, comparisons, social learnings or social comparisons, emotional intensity, sometimes the individual identity formation crisis. So these are certain common characteristics of twins, which even the fraternal twins experience. Now, with the help of diagram, let us look at how these twins are formed. In case of dizygotic twins or fraternal twins, you can see there's one ovum and the second ovum, which are getting fertilized by two different sperms. Each of these ovum go through the developmental stages, the morula, blastula, and all of these formations, the initial formations, and from there develops two different embryos, and from which develops the different fetus. So you can see they have different chorion or different placenta and different amniotic sacs. So each of these two are different. They but they are getting developed in the same pregnancy cycle. Now looking at monozygotic twins, there is one ovum which is getting fertilized by one sperm. It develops into an embryo. Now this embryo for some reason splits into two. Now depending on at when does this split happens, the type of the type and the fate of the twins vary. For example, if this split happens in the very initial time, that is within 3 days, very early, then you get the two fetus are developed in their own amniotic sac and they have their own placenta. So they are also dichorionic and diamniotic. But when the split happens between 3 to 7 days, the placenta would have been formed, but the amniotic sac is still developing. So they do have two different amniotic sacs, but a single chorion and a single placenta. If this split is further late, within 7 to 14 days, even the amniotic sac would have been formed and then the split would have happened. So there is only one chorion and one amniotic sac, and then there are two individuals which are being formed. If this split happens really very late, that is after 14 days, then we get again monochorionic, monoamniotic twins, but they are also attached or joined with one another, and that is known as conjoined twins. Sometimes it can get very difficult to even separate them, and it could be very, very risky. And there have been instances where the twins have lived their entire life attached to one another. So this was my short video about twins. Thank you so much for watching, and do come back with your questions, and if you have any or any clarifications that you seek in the comments below, and I will come back to you with the answers. There is so much more about twins, but we can take them as separate topics, because each of that, be it the psychology, be it the genetics, be it uh, the development, all of that are in itself very deep when it comes to the twins. Thank you so much, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel Givology.